of the video. This is the mesh rose wreath that you guys have been waiting forever for, and Mimi's been very patient. Thank you, Mimi.
Yay!
Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you?
Mimi, you know, I just like to say your name. That's all. That's why I love when you're in my class, because I just think you have the cutest name of all.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you very faintly. I just turned up my volume.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. I turned up the volume here. I've got my air conditioner running tonight, and it sounds sort of like a jet engine. I need to get a new air conditioner, so I may have to turn it off so it doesn't disrupt us. It's really warm here today. But if you are new, if this is your first live class, it's very important that you know how to find your unmute button, because I'm going to mute everybody at the beginning of the class just to cut down on background noise. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android, you just have to tap your screen and your controls will come up and you'll see the mute or unmute button, start or stop video. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, you just hover your mouse over the bottom of the Zoom box and you'll see your controls pop up. If you want my picture to be big, so if you're on an iPhone or a phone or an iPad, just tap on my picture and it'll make me big. That means that you're in speaker view. And that's another thing. Zoom defaults to something called speaker view, which means that if someone is speaking, which will be me the majority of the time, the video will be on me. But if one of you asks a question, it will default to that person's video or webcam. And if they don't have their webcam on, it's just going to be a black screen. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with your Zoom. That's just what it does. I'm actually looking at some other options for video conferencing where it doesn't do that, because a lot of times for purposes of the final video, it's a little bit distracting when, you know, it keeps going back and forth between me and other people. But yeah, I'm looking at other options for that. So don't think there's anything wrong with your Zoom if it does that. I need to turn this air conditioner off because it's really, really loud. So hopefully it won't get too warm in here. I've got my fan. Now I'm switching my camera over so you can see my table. Hopefully I won't drop my laptop on the floor, and my camera just moved. 1 second for me. A little bit of a different camera setup tonight because I need my fan. Usually I use my camera on. This end. And I'm going to mute everybody. Again, if your microphone's not working, if you're new, you can type a question in. There is a chat feature here. Hi, Teresa. There's a chat feature. I may not see it right away because I'm going to be busy doing my thing here. This is why I do it this way instead of doing Facebook Lives, because it's a lot easier for me to answer a question when someone's asking it instead of typing it. So I just plug my charger in here. Excuse my big head. Okay. This is going to be a sit-down class instead of standing up. Usually I stand up when I do my classes, but I'm going to be able to sit down today. I'm just going to go ahead and mute everybody. Unless you have any last-minute questions. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Got quite a few people here tonight. All right, so just make sure that you know where your mute or unmute button, your unmute button is. I'm sorry, so you can ask a question or you can just type it in. All right. So if you don't have one of these special wreath forms yet, don't worry. You can still order one and you can make your wreath or your rose after class with the video. I'm just trying to give myself some room here in my cramped little craft room. Now, most of you already have these already. What is the meeting ID? Debbie, if you're typing this into me, honey, you're already in the meeting. So you don't need the meeting ID. You're already in here. But if you're asking me because you want to give it to somebody else, it is posted in the group. Oh, trying to open on iPad. Debbie, all you have to do is just go to the group page and you'll see my post that says, here is the link for the meeting. And then the meeting ID is there as well. It should be a post in the group, you know, pretty near the top. So you should be able to find it. I don't have the meeting ID memorized. Again, you should just go to the group page and just click on the link that I posted earlier. And if you have Zoom downloaded on your iPad, you can go ahead and just click it. It'll bring you right back in. Most of you should have this already, the Unique in the Creek, funny looking wreath form. It's two-sided. Hold on a second, let me just, my laptop wants to jump on the floor again like it did that one day. Hold on a minute. Stay. You're gonna have to look at my laptop so it doesn't fall. It's two-sided, meaning there's a white side with the Unique in the Creek logo on it, and there's sort of a wood-colored side. This is the side that you're going to be using for class. The only time you want to use the white side is if you're using a very light-colored mesh, like white, or maybe a light pink or something. You be the judge. It doesn't really matter, I guess, what side you use. I was just told that this light side is for lighter colored mesh and this dark side is for darker colored mesh. And I have a purple. I have a darker purple, so I'm going to be using this side. Let me get my mesh out here.
Chris, it's Cindy. I'm glad you said that because mine is a real light peach color, so I'm flipping.
Yeah, use the white side. Yep.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
I have like a darker purple, so I'm going to use this side. Did you guys see my note about the clothespin? You don't have to have a clothespin. It's just when you're attaching your mesh, basically just for the center. It helps to hold the pieces out of the way while you're putting the next one in. That's really all it's for. But the first thing you're going to want to do is, remember I told you to cut 2 pieces of string or twine. I think this might even be a little bit longer than 5 or 6 inches, but this might even be a little bit too long. This is what she sent me in the kit. It might even be like 8 inches, but really all this is for is just a hanger. So you see all these little tiny holes here. There's also going to be 2 bigger holes, okay? You can probably see them better on this side. See the 2 bigger holes here? You can't really see them as good on this side. They look small on this side. They're right here. Whoops, I'm blurry, hold on. Oh, there we go. So those are your hanging holes, these 2 holes here. I think that's probably why they did that. They're actually the same size as the other ones, but I think they sort of like cut a little bit out here to make them easier to be seen. Those are your hanging holes, okay? You're gonna wanna put this through here first because you're gonna not be able to do it later. You're gonna have to be digging through your mesh to find your holes. So let me think for a second here. Yep, it's gonna go this way. So just go through the hole with that shorter piece I told you to cut. And just make yourself a little knot. You could do it this way. However you want to make a knot, it doesn't really matter. Just so you have your hanging piece there. That's all, just for hanging it afterwards. Okay. Now I know I told everybody in the group to have 6-inch zip ties and 3 or 4-inch zip ties. You know, it really doesn't matter. If this just needs to be a little bit longer than this, because these shorter ones are going to be the ones that you're going to attach to your rose, I guess, petals, okay? This is what you're going to use to attach it to the form. So you're going to use 2 zip ties for each rose petal, okay? So if this happens to be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be exactly 6 inches. The only reason it does, you know, this one needs to kind of be short is because you're just going to be wrapping this around the your petal after we fold it. because it's all going to be, all the extra is going to be cut off anyway. So it doesn't have to be, this is just what they send in the kit, a 6-inch and 3-inch. So they don't have to be exactly that length. All right, so you know what I want to start with though first, because I know I posted in the group that I was short a few pieces of mesh. I'm not quite sure how that happened. And when you're cutting your mesh for this rose, don't be too concerned about fraying. Don't be too concerned about using the wood burning tool and making sure you don't have any frays, because you're gonna love this. All your cut ends are gonna be down on the bottom. They're gonna be hiding. You're not gonna see them at all, which is really, really nice. So this is actually the second roll that I bought. I didn't cut the whole roll because I was only short a few pieces, and it kind of matches pretty good. This is from Hobby Lobby. This is what they sent me in the kit. So very easy. You're just going to take your piece of mesh. This is a 10 by 9-inch piece, okay? You're just going to take the 2 corners. Now these are your cut sides here, although I don't think it really matters. But you're going to take your 2 corners and just bring them together. Now it's not going to make a perfect fit, meaning you're going to have, like if you laid it flat like that, it's not going to be like even, because this is not an even square. It's 10 by 9 inches. I guess it is more or less pretty even. So you're folding it in half like that, okay? So again, it doesn't really matter. I would lay the side that curls up. Do you know what I mean? So see how it's curling? So have that side up. These are my uncut sides, and these are my cut sides. So I'm just going to take and just fold it over, all right? And you're going to kind of gather it at the end. So you maybe have like, I don't know, what is that, like an inch? Let me see how much that is. Hold on, where's my tape measure? Let me get my little board out here. That's 2 inches. So after you do your fold, you're going to have a little 2-inch piece on the end there, okay? It's going to look like that. Take your shorter zip tie. You're just going to put that around. Make sure when you're doing your zip tie that you have the flat end up, or else it's not going to stay. That's how the zip ties work. You're just going to put that right around where you gathered. And don't pull it really, really tight yet, and I'll tell you why. Pull it tight enough so it holds it, and it doesn't come out. It's going to look like that, okay? Because what you're going to do is, and I won't do it yet, but you're going to take your longer zip tie, and that's how you're going to attach it. And we're not going to do it yet, but it's actually going to lay down like that, and you're going to take your longer zip tie, you're going to go up through the bottom of the wreath form, and it's going to come around and loop right through this other zip tie. It's going to go right through, which is why you don't want to get it too tight. You want to have it loose enough so that you can feed this other zip tie through there, like that. And that's how it's going to attach to your wreath form. Does that make sense? So your shorter zip tie is what's going to hold your petal together at the bottom, and you've got about 2 inches here. Tie it tight enough or pull it tight enough so it holds it, but not so tight where you can't get this other zip tie through, because you need to be able to do that. All right, so put that aside. Now, there's 1, 2, let me count here. 1, 2, I think I told somebody else there's 5 sets of holes. It doesn't really matter because we're going to get to this part. But if you see on the inside, there's 8 sets of 2 holes, okay? The closest to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And then there's 8 that go around up here. All right, and then you get 8 up here. See the 2 sets of 2 holes up here? And then you have sets of 3, but I'll explain that after, okay? So we're gonna start, after we make all of our petals, we're gonna start on these sets of 2 holes in the middle. That's what's gonna make the center of your rose. Okay, so we're just gonna keep making our petals first, and then we're going to attach them. So again, lay it down so it's, curling up. I like to be able to have my cut sides on these 2 sides here, so they're on the ends of my folds. Not that it really matters. So just fold it over again and make your triangle, okay? Pinch it in the middle or at the bottom, so you have about 2 inches. Get your shorter zip tie. It can be a longer zip tie if that's all you could find, because you're going to snip off the extra anyway. And again, pull it tight enough where it holds it, but not so tight that you can't get that other zip tie through. So then we have 2. We're going to need 8 of these to do our rosebud. Oh, we got some drama going on in the group. I need to turn my page off. I love it when somebody messages me and they say, Christina, somebody deleted my post. Do you know why? Now, I have 2 other admins. If you guys don't know this, the Need to Wreath group is my group too. So, Christina, why did somebody delete my post? Well, I don't know. I have 2 other admins that, police the page too. So, and I feel bad. But I always just say to them, go and read the pinned post. And normally they're like, oh, okay, I broke a rule. I didn't realize that. Okay, there you go. So if you guys had any idea how many messages that I get every day. So I apologize if someone messages me, if one of you guys messages me and I don't answer right away. It's only because I get about 10 zillion emails a day. Yeah, my Need to Wreath group is up close to 10,000, or excuse me, 50,000 members now. So we're just folding our pieces again, I'll go slow. Just folding it over, and you're gonna gather it till you have about 2 inches. And I just told one of my admins, I can't deal with this right now because I have a class. So, and they're really good. I have awesome admins. They take care of stuff for me. We try to be fair, we try to keep all drama out, which isn't always easy.
Christina.
Yeah.
Mimi, why wasn't this cut 10 by 10 so we would be better when
You
we were doing it?
You wouldn't have had enough in your roll, even though we didn't have enough in the roll anyway.
We
Because
didn't,
if you do the math, I think I got a faulty roll. If you do the math, there's 360 inches in a roll of 10-inch mesh. 9 inches goes into 360 inches 40 times. And you need 40 petals for your rose. So this is just how it was showed to me in the tutorial. Now keep in mind, I didn't design this tutorial.
Okay.
Actually, I'm working with Lori because you guys get a little bit of a discount when you order and you use the Need to Wreath code, but she's the one that kind of came up with this method. Now, here's the thing though, too, Mimi. I just found out that you can use 21-inch mesh to make these roses too.
Yeah.
I think she's still cutting them 21 by 9 inches. Now, I mean, you're saying to make it easier, what kind of a problem are you having? Are you having an issue with the way it's folding?
No, it just bothers me that it's not tip to tip.
A perfect square?
Right?
You know what? I'm sure you probably can do 10 by 10 inches, but you're just going to have to go into a second roll. That's all. You won't have enough to do. That was her whole thing. Her whole...
I did anyway.
Yeah, I know, me too. Her whole concept was that she wanted to devise a system that used less mesh, less waste. So this was her thing, that you could make this rose with 1 roll of mesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more. Mimi, could you mute yourself, please, honey? Do you mind?
Sure.
Thank you, my dear. I hope you were able to get back on, Debbie. I don't know. I still see her chat message. Were you able to get on the iPad, Debbie? Again, if some of you are new and you don't have microphone capabilities, it's a very easy fix. It's just something in your settings for Zoom that you have to adjust. And again, just message me after class and I'll help you with that. You know, we can do a one-on-one meeting, we can jump on, and I can do a test meeting with you so we can get that figured out. Okay, so here we go. We have all of our 8 pieces. If you guys need me to slow down if you're not ready yet. But we have all of our 8 pieces here. Is everybody caught up? Do you want me to wait for you? Want me to slow down? Okay, so then you take your long zip tie, all right? You can start anywhere, and again, we're going to be using these center holes, the holes closest to the center. There's 8 sets of 2, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to come up through the bottom. Now, I like to have my zip tie already in the right position before I do that. And when I say the right position, you want to make sure the flat end is facing up because your zip tie will not attach if the flat end is not facing up, okay? So you're just going to go up around underneath. You can go through this first hole. Let me find it here. All right, so you're going up through the first hole here toward the center, okay? You can lay that back down. Take your petal. Now this little 2-inch piece is going to be laid down like that, facing out, okay? And you're going to actually snip this extra off after we attach it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your zip tie here that you just pushed up through the hole, okay? Make sure your little tail is facing out, and you're going to feed it up through the zip tie that's holding your flower petal together. You're going to feed it right up through. I'm going to try to get up closer so you can see it. That's why it has to be a little bit looser. You see how it's going right up through that zip tie? Actually, you know what? Hold on a second here. I'm on the wrong side. It has to be, let me think for a second here. I think it has to be going up through the front. Yeah, you have to actually go up through the front of it, not the back, okay? So the front. My bad. I think I put this one on a little bit too tight, but I can get it through. That's why you're not supposed to put your zip tie in that tight. Hold on. I can get it through. There we go. So it goes up through the front of your petal. I apologize. Hold on and I'll show you. So the front of your petal. Like that. That's the front. Okay? Because what you're going to do is now you're going to take your longer zip tie and you're going to go down through that second hole. We came up through the first hole closest to the middle, and we're going to go down through the second hole, and then we're going to attach it underneath.
I'm lost.
All right, we'll do it again. This has to be facing out. Yeah, and you know what? It's not working that way. Maybe we should have, in the tutorial, it says to come up through the front. No, that's not right. Because now it's facing inward. It's got to be facing outward. We're going to do it again. Don't worry.
Christina,
Yes, ma'am.
this is, can you see this is the way I put it? I keep it to the left. And then when you lay it down, everything's to the left. So they go
I don't
right.
think you have your video camera on. Who's this talking?
Connie. Connie Leitner, you can't see the video?
Yeah, because in the tutorial it shows that all your little pieces, all your little end pieces are supposed to be facing out like that.
Right.
I don't think it really matters.
So what I do is I lay it down so my zip tie tail is to the left.
Okay.
And then I bring it up through the bottom, and I go from the folded end down to the part that's on the outside. So flip yours to the outside, your
Like
tail,
that, right?
and lay it down.
Yep.
And now when you're underneath, come from the middle one.
Yep.
Now put your tail on the outside, face it out. Yep. Fold towards you.
On this side, the one
fold
closest to
toward
me.
you. The
Okay.
tail is toward the outside of the board.
Yep.
And then bring the zip tie from the top and go down underneath, down through the hole. So you're putting the zip tie in this little section here.
Yeah, I can't see your video here. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know where you went. Oh, there you are. Hold on. Okay, you're a little too close to the camera. Pull back a little bit.
Okay. How far back?
So you have it going up through the back?
So I bring I'm using scissors here. So I
Yeah.
bring I lay it down on my board, and then I bring my zip tie up through the hole here, and then bring it that way. So this is facing the middle.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I gotcha.
The
I
fold in
gotcha.
the middle.
Yeah. Okay, what
Okay.
she's saying is, let me get my video back on here. Thanks, Connie.
You're welcome.
Let me get my video back. Where did I go? Here we go. All right, that makes a lot of sense. It didn't really explain it that well in the tutorial. What she's saying is, okay, you're still going to come up through with your zip tie in this hole that's closest to the middle, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece, okay? Remember, you want your tail to be laying down this way, okay? So where'd my zip tie go? So what you're going to do is you're going to come up, all right, and you're going to go down through the top of the zip tie that's holding this on, okay? So down through the top. Let me see if I can show you. Instead of coming up from the bottom, you're going to go down through the top. That's what I did wrong. That's what screwed me up, okay?
Is the top the thick part of the zip tie?
Now wait a second. See, watch, Mimi. You see how I have that? I'm coming up through the bottom hole with the zip tie, and I'm going down through the top. Do you see that?
Right, of the thick part of the zip tie.
Yeah.
Of the part that's attached to the pedal. Do you see how it's going down and through it there? Do you see that? I'm holding onto this little tail here. So you come up the bottom, the bottom hole there, and you go up and down through the zip tie that's holding the pedal together. Do you see that? Does that make sense?
So 2 zip ties go.
You need 2 zip ties. You need 1 zip tie to hold your pedal together, the short one.
Right.
Yeah.
The one coming up from the bottom is going through the same side as the one that's there already? Up
No.
and down?
You need to attach this zip tie to the one that's around your pedal, that's holding your pedal together. And you need to be able to attach it to your frame, but you're going to come up with it and you're going to go down through the top. See that? Of the one that's holding your pedal together. Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know.
All right,
Just go ahead. Go ahead. Don't worry about me.
Well, no, I want you to be able to know how to do it. Let me
Chris,
do
the
it
question,
again. What's
Chris,
that?
it's Cindy. The question I have is the tail going to be towards the middle of the board or out?
No, the outside. It's going to be facing out.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So after you come up, again, we're going to come up through the bottom of this first hole toward the center with your longer zip tie. Okay, let me do this again. Here's our zip tie coming up through the first hole here. Okay? Here is your petal. Here's your petal with the zip tie around it. You need to get this zip tie down through this little space here. So you're going to come up from the board and you're going to go down through this piece of the zip tie that's holding this petal together.
Okay, so the thick part of the zip tie that's already there goes against the board?
It's going to be laying like this. When you get the zip tie on and you attach it, it's going to be laying like that with your little piece facing out. But to be able to attach it, you got to come up from the board with this longer zip tie. You can see it there. And you need to come up and then go down through this little circle here that's holding the zip tie together, that's holding the petal together. Okay?
I think I did it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I have a blank one. Can you see it or not? Probably not.
Let me find, who's talking here? I gotta
Oh,
find
I'm sorry,
your video.
Connie.
Oh, Connie again. I'm sorry. I'll get to know your voice.
Oh, that's all right.
Can you guys see Connie? Can you click on Connie's picture?
So here's a black zip tie. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the fold is going to be in the middle, towards the middle. This
Right.
is coming up through the first hole, the
Right.
very center hole. And then when it comes up, you're going to put so I'm backwards here, but you're going to bring it through the top towards the fold first. And it's going to look like that. And then this piece will come down and you'll zip it.
Okay.
So up through the very middle hole first, and down through the top next to the fold. Use it from the top and go down through, and then you're going to push it in.
So the little connector is going to be against the board?
From the bottom.
Yep.
Okay.
It's all going to be pulled snug into the bottom. And actually what's really nice about it is that, let me get my video back again here. They designed it in a way that you're not going to have any sharp pieces sticking out, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. I already attached mine. That's how it's going to look when it's attached, okay? You can see that the zip tie, and I cut that little extra piece off that was holding my flower together. This, after I attached it, I snipped that off. So you can see when you turn it over that you can actually pop this little piece right into this hole. So you don't have any sharp pieces sticking out. I'll show you again. I'll show you how I did that. But you can actually just pop that right into the hole. So it's all flat and smooth. Well, let's do it again. So this is how it's going to look when it's on your board. This little tail is going to be facing out. And everything is going to be attached close to your board. Now the reason why I had you get some clothespins is because when you're moving around your board, you kind of want to get this out of the way. So you just kind of take this and just clip it together just to kind of hold it down, and it's out of the way while you do your next one. All right, so let's go to the next set of 2 holes here. Again, get your long zip tie. You're going to come up through the hole here that's closest to the center. Let's do it again. Let me find my hole. So there's the hole closest to the center, right there, right next to the one I just did. Now, watch carefully here. This is how you're going to want your piece to be laying. This is how we want it to look. But in order to do that, you need to take this zip tie that we just put through the hole. You got to go up and down through that little space that's holding this petal together. You got to come up, lay it down so it's ready in that position that you want with your little tail out, and you got to go down through the top of the zip tie circle or whatever you want to call it that's holding that petal together. I'm going to try to show you again a close-up here. You're coming up through that first hole. I'm trying to lay it so you can see it. And you see how it's up and going down through the top? And it's right through the center there. And you can go down through your second hole. Go down through your second hole now. So now we have the piece in the position we want it to be in. Flip it over. Now I'll show you what I mean by how you can pop it into place. So pull your zip tie tight. And you see how that little knob there lines up with this hole? You can just pop it in. You can even hear it pop. So all your zip ties are laying really flat. You don't have any like sharp pieces sticking out at all. So then that's how it's going to look again when it's laying, when it's on. And then you can take your clothespin and hold this one down. You don't have to do this, but it kind of holds it down so it's out of the way while you're doing your next one. And then here's this piece here from the petal, and I'll just take that off. Does that make sense, Mimi, or no?
I think so.
We're going to do it 6 more times, so. Okay. And once you do it, you're going to get the hang of it. Okay. Take your longer zip tie again. We have 6 more sets of 2 holes. Okay. And go up through the hole that's closest to the center. Get there? Through the center. Here's your petal, okay? You want your petal to be laying this way with this little extra piece facing out, okay? But in order to do that, and to be able to go down through that second hole, because you're going to come up through this hole, and you're going to go down through the second hole so we can secure it underneath. You have to, instead of going up through the bottom, of this little space that we made here, we didn't tie it very securely. We didn't zip it securely. Instead of going up through the bottom, through this little loop here, you're going to come up and you're going to go down through the top. Okay?
But what is laying on the board is the thicker part where you hooked the first tie, right? You know, I don't know what the name of this is.
The bigger part, what do you mean, this part?
The square where the tie goes through. Is that laying on top of the board?
Yes, it's going to be laying like this.
Okay, that's what was confusing me. Okay,
yeah.
So then I think I got it.
Okay, good. So again, come up through that first hole. You've got to go down through the petal, through the top of that little hole, that little circle there. Go down. After you actually, honestly, after you get that through, it might be a good idea to zip tie your petal a little tighter before you cut it off. I'll show you what I mean. So again, go down through that second hole now. That's what it's going to look like. Go underneath and zip it. And again, like I said, this little piece is going to line up with that hole here. It's lining up with the hole. Where's that one I just did? Right here. And you can just pop it in the hole. So it's totally flat. You don't have anything sticking out at all. Now, like I said before, I didn't do this with these other 2, but after you get it secured, you can go ahead and you can tighten that zip tie, because we didn't tighten it before because we wanted to make sure we had enough space to get that other pipe cleaner through. So again, move your clothespin over, and this is just to hold it down so it's out of your way. That's really all it's doing. If you feel like you can do this okay without having the clothespin That's fine. We have quite a few people here. Hi, Jackie. Jackie's here. Jackie, I sent you a private message. I don't know if you got it or not. If you don't, if your microphone's not working, honey, we'll where is my? Oh, here we go. We'll troubleshoot that after class. I did mute you. If you want to look for your unmute button, you should just. It depends on what you're using. If you're using an iPad or a phone, you just tap your screen, and you'll find your mute and unmute button. But if you're joining us for the first time, as long as you can see me and you can hear me, that's perfect. We'll figure out your microphone after class. Okay, let's do this again. So again, grab your long zip tie. Move on to the next set of holes right here. Make sure your zip tie is in the right position with the flat part facing up. Come up through that bottom hole. Through the bottom hole here. And again, you want your petal to be laying like this, okay, with that little piece coming out. And be able to do that, you got to come up with your zip tie and down through the top. Come up with your zip tie here and go down. That little, if you didn't tie it tight like I think I might have done, it might be a little harder for you. But that's why you don't tie the zip tie really tight around your petal. So again, it's coming down through the top. You can see that. And then just pull it through. Go down through that second hole. The second hole here. Where am I? There's the first hole I came up through. You're gonna go down through the second hole. You've got a hold of your petal. You came up through, or you actually came, yeah, you went down through the top. Just go ahead and secure it. And again, like I said, you're gonna be lined up with that hole. You can hear it kind of pop. Pops it in. And then you can tighten this one a little bit more, and then you can snip that off. So this is why it doesn't really matter if you have frays, because they're all on the bottom. None of the frays are going to be showing on the top here. So we have 1, 2, 3 more to go. Make sure your zip tie is in the right position. Go up through that bottom hole. Take your petal. We're going to go, oh, Debbie, you're sharing your screen, honey. Did you know that? I don't know if you realize you're sharing your screen. Whoops. I don't know what just happened. Did I lose everybody? Are you all still here? Here we go. Debbie accidentally was sharing her screen. So again, we're gonna come up with our zip tie in the first hole. We're gonna go up and down through this part that's holding your petal together. Once you get it through and down through the second hole, secure it underneath. Then you can go ahead and you can tighten this one that's holding your petal together and snip that off. Yeah, Jackie, I see you raised your hand, honey, but if you want to maybe type me in a question if your microphone's not working, I can answer you that way. Like I said, you may just have to have one of your settings adjusted in Zoom so we can get your microphone working. It's really an easy fix. Yeah, I have 3 more to do actually. I thought I had 2. We're going a little bit slow here because we're trying to get everybody to get it. And the first time you do it, it might be a little bit hard to get it, but you're gonna love it once you. That's really the hardest part, is to figure out how to attach the petals. As long as you know that when you're coming up through the bottom with that zip tie, you're going up and down through your petal to hold it.
Hey, this is Teresa. Can we get that board from Hobby Lobby?
No, you can only get it from Unique in the Creek. This is a patent pending product that they developed. And I did post a link in the group. This is one of their, special innovative type products that she came up with. So, and they're $8. I did post a link in the group. You, hold on, I gotta get this a little bit closer to the center here. You do have an option to purchase the tutorial if you want. The board is $8. You can get the tutorial with it because she has other flowers for, I think, $20. So you can get the board and the tutorial for any flower that you want for $20. Or, I'm going to have classes on other flowers too. Or you can get the whole kit as well. But I think a lot of people here just went ahead and ordered the boards because they're taking the class. And, I told them, because all you really need to make the rose is a roll of 10-inch mesh in the color that you want for the rose, a roll of green 10-inch mesh, and you don't even use the whole roll. You only use 8 pieces for the leaves. Zip ties and just a glue gun and some string is really all you need. But if you look in the group, Teresa, you'll see that I posted the link to where to order the boards. And she did clarify for me today that initially when she was doing shipping, it was really charging quite a bit for shipping. I think it was like $15 for one of these boards. And I said to her, Lori, that's really expensive. And apparently it was because of the size of the box. But now they discovered they can use poly mailers for these boards. So we finally got it figured out that if you order 1 board, it's going to cost you $5.50. It's a flat rate. If you order 2, unfortunately, for some reason, it's going to jump to $9. However, I did clarify today that if you order between 2 and 10 boards, it's still going to be $9. So, and we're going to be doing other flowers. She has a lot of other neat flower designs that she does. So, you'd be better off just buying 3 or 4, and then, you're still only going to pay $9 for shipping regardless of where you are, because it's a flat rate. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just clipping these down. The purpose of the clothespin is just to kind of hold it out of the way while you're putting your other pieces on. We got 1 more to go. Then we can get our center made. Our rosebud. And Connie's probably already halfway done with her rose because she's just she's showing me what to do. I got stuck there. I couldn't remember. It's like, wait a second, why isn't this working?
To be honest, Christina.
What's that?
It's Connie. I'm just watching tonight.
Oh.
Because you've made them before. I've made them and sold them already.
Wow.
But I had to clean my craft room, so I thought I'd watch you guys.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, I'm muting now. Bye.
All right, my dear. Thank you.
You're
so that's
welcome.
how it's going to look on the bottom when you have all your 8 pieces in. Look how nice and neat that is. Now, it's going to look like a great big mess right now. But trust me, it'll come together. You can start with any one of these pieces, okay? But what you want to do is you want to make the center for your flower. So take any one of these pieces, and you're just going to kind of wrap it around itself. So take the 2 ends and kind of just wrap them around. If you can see this here. This is why we're going to have our string too, because it's going to kind of hold your rosebud together. You're going to want like a little cone shape here. Get it together as tightly as you can. And mine's not staying together. Hold on a second here.
Christina, it's Cindy. We pick one and then wrap that tight and then wrap all the other ones around
Yes.
that one?
Yep.
Okay.
So you have sort of like a little cone shape in the middle, okay? And that's going to be the center, the very, very center of your rose. And don't worry about, holding it so it stays together, because that's what the string is for, okay? So you're going to have like a little cone shape in the center. And it doesn't really matter what other pieces that you use. You just kind of keep moving around and wrapping your pieces around. Yeah, I don't really care. Oh, somebody's got a mute.
Christina,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yep, who's this? Is this Pat? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Hello?
Oh, your sound is really bad, honey. You're having some issues there.
Ah,
Yeah, Pat, you're having some problems with your microphone, honey.
okay. Sorry.
You want to just type your question in? Yeah, there's something going on with your microphone. So you're just going to keep taking all your pieces and just kind of wrapping them around the center. And don't get really frustrated if they don't stick together or stay together, because you're going to tie everything together with your string. I don't like Hobby Lobby mesh. I have a fray. There we go. And again, don't get frustrated. Just go nice and slow. Just take all your pieces and just keep wrapping them around each other.
Ah, so much for using the stinking wood burner.
Yeah, I know. You probably didn't even really need to do that.
Nope, sure didn't.
I did anyway, though.
Well, that's what I did. I'm like sitting here zipping away, waiting for you to come on. I'm like, oh, I'm almost done. I'm almost done.
Yeah. So again, just try to get it to hold together as good as you can, and then we're going to use a string. This is going to be the center of your rose. Your little rose bud. And like the good thing that mesh kind of likes to stick together, though. I mean, that kind of helps. So it's going to kind of look something like that when you're done. Mine actually is sticking together pretty good. Did you see how the little tails are all sticking out? but you do need that little piece of string, or that 20-inch piece of string that I had you cut, just so we can kind of tie this together so it stays together while we're adding the rest of our petals. Does everybody have their little bud done, or do you want me to wait a little bit? That's the center. It should look something like that. That's the very center of your rose. Let me get a drink of water. Oh, I forgot to cut this little zip tie off here. Okay. All right, now you can use twine, you can use string, you can use yarn. I actually have a piece of yarn that was left over from my poly burlap flower that I'm going to use from my center. You just need, oh, hi Jennifer. You just need to be able to, where's my mute button here? There we go. You just need to be able to, I don't really think I even need to tie this together. Mine is staying together pretty well, but you're just gonna want to take your string and kind of go around halfway up the middle and just sort of tie it together, kind of loosely. But just so you have it so it stays together while you're adding the rest of your pieces. You can cut this off after you tie it. Go about halfway up. I went down a little bit too far here. Hold on, where's my yarn? Probably shouldn't have used yarn because yarn likes to stick to mesh, but I had it. You're not going to see it when you wrap the rest of your petals around. All right, hold on a second here. This mesh is like grabbing my yarn. It wants to eat it. But I don't have any string. Come about halfway around and just loosely tie it, just to get your little bud tied together here. There. And you can cut that off. That's it. That's the only time you're going to use string, just because you want to make sure that your bud stays together, because that's the center of your rose. That's the star of the show. Okay. Now we just have to put the rest of the pieces on. And all we're going to do now, we're going to do the same thing we did for the center. Now we're not going to see that yarn, or your string. Now we're going to go to the second set of 2 holes. There's going to be 8 more sets of 2 holes. Okay? We're going to do the same thing with those holes. Make your petals. Now this mesh here that they sent me is a lot thicker. This Hobby Lobby mesh is kind of thin. So again, don't tighten these too much because you want to be able to get your zip tie through this to attach to your board. We're gonna need 8 more of these. If you just want to go ahead the next time you make a rose and just make all your petals ahead of time, you don't have to do 8 at a time. You can just do them all.
I have to step out for a second, Cindy. I'll be right back.
Okay, honey. Boy, is it warm in here, but I know if I put my air conditioner on, it's going to be loud. I just need to go buy another one. I think I pulled that one a little bit too tight, but I keep forgetting not to get it tight. So I have 4, I need 4 more. Once you get the hang of it, it's going to be very easy. It's just initially knowing how to put, where's all my short ones? It's just initially knowing how to attach your petal that can be a little frustrating. Once you get it, you get it. And I'm telling you, I've seen people just keep making these roses because they just love making them once they get started. I have 5. I need 3 more. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have a bunch of big zip ties and no tiny ones. Here we go. Oh, wrong side. I hate when you go to put a zip tie in and you have it on the wrong way. And you know it's not the right way because it doesn't make that zip sound. That's why they call them zip ties.
Christina.
Yes?
Are all the petals going to one side?
What do you mean?
Or around the board?
What do you mean going to one side?
They are all laying on one side?
They're going to be all laying with the tails facing out. Is that what you mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Mimi.
Oh, I don't know either. I think I'm going to give up.
Why?
Very frustrated with this.
I'm sorry, Mimi.
I'll look at the video.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to keep on watching, but.
Okay, honey. Just keep watching me. You're going to get it. You have all your petals made. Now we're going to go to the next set of 2 holes. Okay. Same exact thing we did with the first. Go up through. There's a second set of 2 holes. You're going to see they're going to be right in between your little tails here. So they're going to be easy to find. They're right in between the little tails that are all facing out. So come up again. Make sure that the flat end of your zip tie is facing up. Come up through that center hole there, the closest hole toward the center. We're going to do the same exact thing. You have your petal, okay? You got to come up with the zip tie and down through the top. Down through the top. So once you come down through and you go through that second hole, your petal's going to be laying like that, just like all the ones in the middle. I really want to squish my rosebud. I think it'll be okay. And once it's through, then you can tighten this that was holding your petal together and snip that off. Again, you can still do the same thing with your clothespin, just to hold it down so it's out of the way while you do your other ones. Yeah, Christina, this is what happens when you put your zip tie on too tight and you can't get it through. There we go. I'm just going to stand it up this way and pull my zip tie through so I don't squish my rosebud. Slip that off. Oh, I gotta use this one. I don't need another one. Just moving around, and like I said, it's easy to find where the holes are because they're right in between your little tails. The holes are right in between the tails, so you know which one to go to. Now we can tighten the one, like I said, after you get it attached to the board, you can tighten that one that's around your petal and snip it off. So again, after I secure it to the board, I'm just tightening the one that's around the petal just to make sure that that's secure. Well, these are thick zip ties. And you don't have to have the clothespin, but it just kind of helps keep your petal out of the way while you're putting the next one on. It kind of moves it over to the side and just gets it out of the way for you. My string is coming off. Back up there. Make sure you go in and you tighten that one zip tie that's around your petal. I have to say that the mesh that they send in the kit is really good quality. It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. You can actually still spray this with an adhesive spray if you do have a little bit of fraying, because sometimes the cut ends kind of want to pop up on you. Like my little center, I notice, is trying to like pop out. And I've got a couple of frays here, and you can still spray that. But for the most part, you're not really going to have to worry about any frays. Three more for this part. Remember, come up through the bottom hole, the closest one to the center. And then again with your petal, you're going to go up with your zip tie and down through this. It's securing your petal together. So up with the zip tie and down through that little loop that you made that's holding your petal together. Remember, don't zip tie your petal too tight or you're not going to be able to get it through. Here we go. And then down through the second hole and attach it underneath. Tighten the one that's on your petal. Snip off the excess. Two more. As long as all your little tails are facing down, you're good. Facing down and out, I mean. Flat. Your tails are going to be flat against the board and facing out. See, what's nice about this board is that everything is nice and flat in the back. Look at that. You can't see anything sticking out. It's all flat. That's how it's going to look. So take off your clothespin, snip this off, and we're just going to take all these pieces now. Am I blurry? Hold on a second here. Oh. Hold on 1 second for me. This is why I want to get myself a new camera. There we go. Okay, so now we just take this new row of petals that we made and just start wrapping them around. our rosebud. Doesn't matter where you start. And again, the nice thing about the mesh is that it kind of wants to stick to itself. Be patient, because they will just hug your rosebud. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. You're just wrapping it around. And just be patient. You know, you might have to tuck a piece in here or there, but it sticks to itself. So that's the nice thing. And then before you know it, you're going to be looking at a really pretty rose. You know, I remember when I took my first wreath class, it was in a class just like this. It was a Zoom meeting. And it was with Debbie's wreaths and things. I love Debbie because she's the one who really got me obsessed, again, with wreath making. You know, I used to make wreaths when my kids were little, and nothing like this. There wasn't deco mesh when my kids were little, so mostly grapevine florals and Christmas wreaths and things like that. But anyway, I got very frustrated in Debbie's class because I couldn't keep up with everybody. I couldn't understand what the heck she was doing, and I was really upset. But, you know, that's why it's good to have the video, because you can stop and watch it, pause it, and start it, and, you know, make your creation at your own. And my center doesn't want to stay rolled up here. You can make your creation at your own pace and not have to worry about trying to keep up with the class. So, you know, that's why I record all the videos, because I want to make it easy for people to be able to do stuff. And so, you know, sometimes it's nice to be able to do stuff on your own without the pressure of, you know, having to keep up with the class. So, all right, you need to stay. My center's starting to bug me here. I probably should have wrapped it a little bit tighter, but that's okay. Let me just keep doing my outside here. We'll worry about the center later.
I'm still here. And
Hi, Mimi.
And I have a question. I'm still on the first step. Do all the leaves or whatever you call it, are they standing up or are they laying flat?
They're standing up.
The board?
They're standing up.
Oh.
The only part that's flat is your little tail.
The tail. Okay. Bye.
Yep. That's the only part that's laying flat. Now don't worry so much about this piece here that kind of wants to stick out here. Once you get the rest of your petals on, it'll hold that one in place. This one doesn't seem to want to stay.
Don't buy dollar store ties.
Zip ties, yeah.
They are the worst. That's why I'm having a hard time here too.
They break really easily. I know, honey.
Yeah.
Walmart has good zip ties.
I know.
I like Walmart. So again, like I said, you might have to sort of tuck some of your petals in to get them to stay, but for the most part, they'll stay once you get all your other pieces wrapped around. So just take your time. you can see, you're starting to get your rose shape here. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. I like this purple. All right. Now we just got to do the same thing again. And you're going to have another 8 sets of 2 holes. Let me see here for a second where they are. All right, you can see that there's sets of 3 on the outside. Don't worry about those yet. You still have another 8 sets of 2. Okay, we're going to move to those now. I got to take a quick bathroom break though, so I'll be right back. That's because I drank a cup of coffee really super fast before class. I think it's the quickest I've ever drank a cup of coffee in my life. I will be right back, ladies. Okie. Now when you're all done with your rows, you can go back underneath and you can snip these off, all these, because you're not going to need these. You're not going to need all those extra pieces of zip tie on there. Just like I snipped all these ones off, you can snip those off after. One second. Okay, now we're just going to make 8 more petals. I saw somebody, if you go to the Unique in the Creek page, people are submitting really, really pretty pictures of roses. Somebody made a patriotic rose, just really, really gorgeous colors. And like I said, she just posted 2. I guess she just did, Lori just did a, Lori is the owner of Unique in the Creek. If you hear me talking about Lori and you're like, who the heck is Lori? She's the owner of Unique in the Creek. She is the designer. They're in Niagara Falls, Canada. I messaged her and I said to her, I'm going to be in Niagara Falls. Why don't you pop over to the American side and say hello? And I guess she was out camping, so I was going to meet her. But it didn't work out. But anyway, she just did, because someone, I guess, was asking her if you can do a rose with 21-inch mesh, and you can. I don't remember what the exact specifics of the measurements were. I keep tying my petals too tight. I got to remember, don't tie your zip tie really tight around your petal. Then you're not going to be able to get your second zip tie through. But I think all she did was she just cut the 21-inch mesh into still 9-inch pieces, because you want to be able to get 40 pieces out of that roll of mesh, because typically whether you have a roll of 21-inch mesh or you have a roll of 10-inch mesh, it's going to be you're going to want 40 pieces. You're going to need 40 pieces. So she still did 21 by 9. Oh, Cindy, have to grow. Oh, one of her girls is sick. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I remember what it's like to have sick kids. I'm so sorry, Cindy. Oh, I have my zip tie on wrong. You can always tell when it's not making that noise. Robin, are you making your rows too, or are you just watching?
I'm making mine.
Yay! Is it making sense?
Oh yeah, it is. My center is just being difficult right at the moment.
Yeah, mine was too. I can't get my little rosebud in the center to stay. I may have to spray it with some adhesive.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah,
being,
because you can do that. You can just spray some adhesive in the center and kind of get it to stick together. Yeah, mine was doing the same thing.
it's fighting me right at the moment, but
Aw.
I'm going to win this battle.
Yes, you will. If I can do it, you can do it. 1, 2, 3. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 3 more. Yeah, you know, wouldn't you know that I decided to use the Hobby Lobby mesh for my very center, and it's fraying on me, and now I want to shoot myself.
I picked some up, it's Robin. I picked some up today at Michael's on my way home after my trip, and
It's 12 inch.
I'm surprised it's not fraying, but I did use the wood burner.
Yeah, I did too. I think it's because I'm tugging at my center too much. But I'm going to spray it a little bit with some adhesive. I just don't want to do it now because this stuff smells terrible. So I'm not going to do it now. I wonder if you could do this with burlap too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This mesh that I got from Unique in the Creek is really thick and stiff. I was surprised. It's good quality. All right. So now we're going to move to the last set of 2 holes before we move to the set of 3 holes. So again, they're very easy to find. Same thing, go up through the bottom hole that's closest to the center. And I don't really want to lay my, whoops, where did I go? I don't really want to lay my wreath down flat because I don't want to squish my center, so I'm kind of standing it up to pull it through. And you can make other wreaths. You can make like regular ruffle wreaths with this backing too. You know, it doesn't have to be a flower. You know, there's other things you can do too. So then once you get it on, then you tighten up the one that's around your flower petal. I'm going to try to aim my camera down a little bit more. I feel like up a little bit more. You can see my messy crafter in here. You can see me a little bit better. Okay. Again, I'm just going to use my clothespins to move this out of the way. I think that's the hardest part for people to get, is that you got to come up from the bottom And then you got to go up and down through the petal. Well, I think I want to stand for a bit. I'm getting a little bit sick of sitting, believe it or not. And I'm going to put my fan up on my chair. Get a little more air on me so I don't pass out here. Oh, that's better. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta stand. Don't mind me, I'm just looking at my rose. I'm just looking at it. You guys can see my summer sign sitting down here from Dora. I can't wait to use this. Isn't that so cute? And you attach the mesh down here, and there's little holes here to attach your string to. I'm excited to use that for class. And she paints them too. You can get them painted or unpainted, but everybody told me to order it painted. It's a lot easier. I have a lot more purple down there. I feel like we have a little ways to go still here. I think it's going to be a somebody just messaged me. I'm trying to see who that is. I'm trying to read here. From Cheryl. I'm loving your class. Did you cut 9, 10 inch or 9 inch? Oh, hold on. I'm just reading these notes here. Jackie's watching. Hi, Jackie. CILIA's. Oh, okay. Celia, first time you're here. Yes, I know you're new. Loving my class. Did I cut 10 inch or 9 inch? The petals for the rose are 9 inches, and the petals for the leaves are 10 by 10 inches. So, and then here's Cheryl. Yeah, I can't really respond to typed questions right now. I'm sorry, you guys. This is why I do my classes this way, because it's easier for me to, when you ask your questions out loud than reading them. I apologize. This is why I don't do Facebook Lives, because you have to stop reading the questions. I'll never get class done. So if your microphone's not working, then we'll get with you tomorrow and we'll troubleshoot that, because I would prefer that you ask your questions out loud instead of typing them. It's hard for me to stop and keep reading the questions. I apologize. Yeah, and I had to move the class today, Cheryl, because I was short mesh in my roll. I didn't have enough. I must have had a faulty roll or something. I don't know, but I was short about 5 pieces. I couldn't get to Hobby Lobby, so And thank you for the nice compliments on my rose. It's definitely coming together. It's getting there.
Christine, this is Connie Leitner.
Hi, Connie.
Hi, I have to leave. I just
Oh,
wanted to say
okay.
hi. You're
Well,
doing a great job, though. It looks great.
You think so?
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
do.
Thank you so much, my dear.
You're welcome. I'll check out the website tomorrow.
Okay, have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you. You too. Good night, ladies.
Uh-oh, my zip tie's popping through. There we go.
Christina, could you do a little refreshing about the string and that I have to hook it onto one, or what was that?
The string around your rosebud?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to, when you get your center done, when you get your rosebud done, you just have to lightly or loosely, I guess not really loosely, you just have to, why is this zip tie coming right out of my hole here? You just have to loosely tie it in the center, just so your rosebud stays together. So it stays together when you're wrapping the other pieces around it. What's that?
In the center?
Right. Your rosebud in the center, the first set of 8 petals that we put on, you want to take your string or your yarn or your twine, whatever you're using, and just wrap it like around up the middle. Like take it and go around the middle of your rosebud. Like the middle meaning this middle. So it's sort of like gathering it together and holding it together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just want to kind of loosely tie it. That just kind of keeps your rosebud together. Even though mine seems to be popping out on me, I might want to put a little bit of craft adhesive spray just to get it to stick together. Luckily, mesh does like to stick together, so that's going to work in your favor. But that just gives it a little bit more security, the string. I don't know why this center piece. Should not have used my Hobby Lobby mesh for the center, but that's okay.
Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Hi, this is Celia.
Hi.
Hi. I had a question. When you ordered the actual kit or the backboard for your rose from Unique in the Creek, does it take a long time for it to come in?
It shouldn't. Why did you order? Is it taking yours a while or?
No, I haven't ordered yet. I'm about to probably do an order.
It shouldn't take more than a week.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know if you heard what I was saying earlier that it's a flat rate for shipping. So for one board, I think it's $5.50. And I just clarified this with her today. I just talked to her today because I was confused because somebody messaged me and she said, Christina, I ordered 2 boards and it was $9. And that really wasn't what she told me in the beginning. I thought for up to 3 boards, it was still $5.50. And apparently if you order 1 board, it's $5.50. But then anywhere from 2 to 10 boards, it's $9.
Okay.
So if you order 2, it's going to be $9, which kind of seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I would suggest ordering, a few more. We're going to be doing other flowers. There's a Gerber daisy that's really gorgeous. I don't know if you saw that posted in the group that I want to do. And there's sunflowers. So I would definitely recommend, taking advantage of the cheaper shipping and maybe order, a couple, like 3, maybe 3 or 4 if you can. But that's what I was told today. It's $5.50 for 1, but it does jump to $9 when you order 2 up to 10.
Okay.
So, and it
all right.
doesn't take that long, but make sure that you use the need to wreath code at checkout.
Oh, okay.
So need to wreath with an E on the end.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And your rose looks absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. It's getting there. This little string here is getting in my way, my little hanging string. Two more. And we only have one more row. I thought we'd be done in an hour and a half, but you know, we had some questions that we had to answer. I know when you're just trying to get the hang of it, it can be confusing. I'm sorry for my head. Is my head in the way? No. But once you get the hang of it, you know, these should only really take you like an hour to make. And again, all the clothespins for is just to keep it out of the way while you add your next petal.
I wanted to show it to you, but I don't know how to reverse this.
You don't know how to turn your cam on? What do you mean? Just, what are you using, honey? Are you using your phone?
iPad.
So just tap your screen, and then your controls should come up.
Yeah.
See your start and stop video. The same way you do the mute and unmute. This should be in the same place.
Okay.
Do you see the start and stop video?
Yeah.
Let me find you. Hold on a second here. I gotta go through my boxes of people. Hi, Mimi. Oh, I love that color.
Yeah.
There you go. That looks good. You got it all tied?
Yeah, it's tied.
That looks good.
Should I tie it more?
No, that looks good.
Okay.
Very good.
But in the back, it's not flat. What did I do wrong?
Yeah, when you're pulling it, you kind of have to kind of pull it toward the center. Do you know what I mean? Instead of pulling it straight up.
Right.
So when you feed it through, like pull it toward the center instead of straight up. That's all. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Like I know what you did. Like when you fed it through, you just went straight up with it. You kind of have to pull it toward the center. You see how all mine are kind of going toward the center? Do you see that?
Oh.
You kind of have to pull it like toward the center instead of straight up. That's all. And I'm going to cut all these off.
Oh, okay.
This one got bent, but they're all kind of going. So pull it through and then go toward the center with it instead of straight up. That's all.
Okay. Thanks.
It looks good though, Mimi. See what I'm doing here? Can you see? I pulled this one through. Let me find my video again. Here I am. Whoops. Where am I? I'm on full screen. Hold on. Okay. So I know it's bright in here. I pulled this one through. All right, so it's through and I zip tied it. So I'm not going to go straight up with it. Where is it? I'm not going to go straight up. I'm going to take it and pull it. I got to grab it. Hold on. I'm going to pull it toward the middle. I'm pulling it toward the middle so it's flat. So it's laying flat. It's not going up. And actually what will happen is the little zip tie knob here, or whatever it's called, will line up with that hole and you can just pop it in the hole.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like here's one here that's kind of sticking up. Since I pulled it this way, I can just pop that in the hole there, that little second hole if it wants to go. Hold on. There we go. It just popped in that little hole. So that little knob there just popped inside that hole.
Well, what do you have tied in the middle like a star?
I don't have anything. That's just all my ends of my zip ties. These are just all the zip ties that I pulled through. I just haven't cut them off yet.
But you will.
That's why it looks like a star. There's nothing tied. It's just because I was pulling the zip ties toward the middle. These are all my zip tie pieces that I haven't cut off yet. All right, so now we're just going to take this next row that we did. Just keep doing the same thing. And you know, again, mesh likes to stick together. So that's what it's going to do. Oh, I got to cut that off. Hold on. Doesn't matter where you start. You just wrapping the pieces around. You know what I find that it makes it a little easier when you have your end piece here, kind of try to tuck it underneath. That helps. Instead of just laying them around each other, like instead of just going like this, take your little ends and kind of tuck them underneath a little bit, and that'll help hold it. You see what I mean? So as you're wrapping it, take your little end and just kind of tuck it under a little bit. And this is gonna help your, see how it's not popping out now?
Okay.
Just kind of tuck that little tiny point underneath. And it's, you know, mesh likes to stick, so it's just gonna grab it. It's just gonna grab it and hold it. Because I find if you just try to do this, watch what happens. It's just gonna, it's just not, it does stay, but not as well as if you were just to tuck that little tiny end in under there. Tuck that corner in. Well, and it still does come out a little bit, but once you get all your pieces on, you'll be fine. Because what we're gonna do is when we get to the last row, that's when you're going to need to use your glue gun. And that's what's going to hold the last set of petals together. But look how fast this goes. Once you get these on here and you start folding them around, it takes literally 5 minutes. What? This one's popping out a little. See, it does. I'm going to cut this off over here. Don't forget to cut your, tighten up that zip tie that you use to make your petal, and just, then you can snip it off. But don't worry so much if these are popping out as you're wrapping it, because again, when we add our last row of petals, which is where we are right now, we're going to glue. But look how, this is what we have so far. How pretty. But this last set of petals is going to be glued down to the board, so you're not going to have to worry about your rows coming apart. And then when you get done and all your pieces are on, then you can sort of play with it a little bit. Then you can sort of like move your pieces around if, you know, if you don't like the way that one is laying, like my center just keeps popping out for some reason. I'm going to have to spray some adhesive on that. I don't really want to do it now because it's kind of smelly. But I kind of want that to be really curled in the center, and it keeps wanting to come out on me. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'm the only one that can see that. But and then you can sort of play with it a little bit and tuck some pieces in that might be coming out. But for the most part, that's staying together really well, though. I'm very happy with that. Okay, now I'm hot. I mean, now I'm cold with this fan blowing right on me. I guess that's what happens when you're 53 years old. Again, for anybody that's having trouble with their sound or their microphone, if you're new, Pearl, Jackie, and you're typing your questions, I apologize. It's just easier for me to answer questions when they're asked out loud. I will get with you tomorrow. We'll figure out the settings in your Zoom. It's probably just a matter of allowing Zoom access to your microphone. That's all. We will figure it out. I can jump on with you and do a one-on-one test meeting. I've done that before with people, and we've gotten it squared away. The first meeting can be a little bit tough, the first class. All right, so now we got to do, what we're going to do now is, hold on one second for me. Okay. We're going to make 8 more. Actually, I think we have 2 more rows here to do before we get to the leaves. This is going to be a little bit of a longer class, so hold on a second here. Just make 8 more petals. And it's kind of tough to get the hang of it at first until you know what you're doing here. I think it's that hole coming up from the bottom with the zip tie and then going down through the top that's a little bit confusing at first. I think we have 2 more rows to do here. If you guys are starting to get tired and you want to just get the video, I understand. But I'm going to go all the way to the end here. I was thinking about maybe even starting at like 7 o'clock Eastern time, but my daughter actually made dinner for us tonight. That was kind of nice. She made goulash. I haven't had goulash in forever. And it was really, really good. When we went to Niagara Falls on Monday, we left my son home because our doggie can't be left alone because she's got diabetes and she pees literally like every hour. So she really can't be left alone, and she's blind. So he doesn't really cook too much for himself. So I told him, I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said, you can cook whatever you want today as long as you clean up your mess. So he kept texting me, you know, how do I do this? And where do I find this? And so he did really good though. I came home and all the dishes were done, and he said, I think that's the first time I cooked all 3 meals for myself, Mom. I'm like, well, there you go. You can cook all your meals from now on if you want. It was a long day though. It's a 3.5 hour drive. It's just, we probably should have spent the night. We could have done more. And it was so hot. It was almost 90 degrees. And I don't really do well in the heat. I don't like hot weather. I'd be happy if we just had 70s all summer, honestly. Anything above 80 is too hot for me. Okay, it doesn't take really long to do these petals. I have another 8 done here. Now, all we have left is 8 sets You can see those 8 sets of 3 holes. Where are they? There we go. You can see the 3 holes there. There's 8 sets of 3. We're just going to use these first 2. These are going to be shared holes, but I don't want to confuse you. Let's get to that after. So let's just use the 2 again for now, just like we did with the other 2. We're going to use the first 2 toward the middle. So I'm coming up again in this last hole, just like we did before. So don't worry about the 3rd hole for now. We're going to be using the first 2. I can't find my, there it is. Up through the first one, down through the second one. Still laying your little tail toward the outside. The last set of petals that we do, the tails are going to be going to the inside. So again, Mimi, I'm pulling it toward the center, not up. And then this little knob here will pop right in that hole. You'll notice that. It'll just pop right in and it gets it out of the way. You don't have any nasty, scratchy zip ties. I've cut myself on the ends of zip ties before. They get really sharp, and it's no joke. You're actually going to be sharing these holes twice, and I'll get to that in a minute. Let's just get this other row in before everybody falls asleep. Surprisingly, because I chugged that cup of coffee before class started, I'm doing really well. But you know, it's funny, because typically we have our classes from 8 to 10 p.m. And I just always have a cup of coffee when I'm done with class. I don't know why. I still fall asleep. I still sleep like a baby. It doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't keep me awake at all. But now I'm like really awake, so go figure. Go figure. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know that typically our classes are over at 10, but this is a little bit of a challenging one if you're doing it for the first time. I feel like my camera's too far away today, but I needed to hook my camera to something else. Usually, believe it or not, I have my camera hooked to my fan, my pedestal fan, but I needed my fan so I wouldn't be hot. I need to get like a tripod or something. That's really what I need to get. Tripod or a camera holder or something. I really want to get one of the Mevos that Damon and all those guys use. But I think that Mevos are only for live streaming on Facebook. I don't know if I can use it with Zoom. I have to find out if I can. I am looking at my screen. If anybody wants to type me a question, if anybody's new and they don't, their microphone's not working, I don't want to tell you that you can't ask me a question. I feel bad, especially if your microphone's not working. So if you want to chat me a question, you know, I have that pulled up on my screen and I'm kind of looking at it. So don't feel like you can't ask me a question if your microphone's not working right now. I just can't have full-on conversations. because we'll never get this done. We'll be here all night. I don't know, Pearl asked has anyone used a bag sealer for cutting the mesh? I'm not sure what that is. I saw that before, but I'm not really sure what that is. I just
Christina,
yeah?
I want you to know I did figure it out, even the back.
Yay! I knew you could, silly.
My God. I was almost crying when I told you I was leaving. I thought, oh, I've been waiting for this for so long, and
I know you have. I know, but I knew you could do it. I knew you could.
It's beautiful, and yours is gorgeous.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, honey. You're so sweet. I'm so glad you're in my classes. But it is confusing. You know, it is, especially when you saw me. I had forgotten initially. I was trying to put the zip tie up through the wrong way. And Connie had made several of these, and she's like, wait a minute, no, don't you remember? You do this. I'm like, oh, that's right. So I was confused at first, too.
This one, I will need the video.
Of course you will. No worries. No worries. Everybody gets the video that's here tonight. Who's that just typed that? Oh, Lisa, I'm sure I can figure out the microphone. I just didn't try tonight. Oh, you'll get your wreath form, Lisa. And you know what it is? Lisa's new, everybody. This is her first class. Typically what it is you just need to go into your settings for Zoom, and you can do a sound test. And it may or may not have asked you. It should have. It should have asked you, do you want to allow Zoom access to your microphone? That's usually what happens the first time you're using it. And then obviously you just say yes. It's kind of a no-brainer. But if you just go into your settings, that's usually what it is. When I first started these classes, I had used Zoom for work. I've worked from home for the past 10 years or so in sales in a variety of different industries. And I commuted for many, many years. When I was raising my kids, I raised my 3 kids by myself. I was a single mom, and I commuted for many years. I had 2 jobs. I was an outside sales rep. I was an inside sales rep. I traveled sometimes an hour for work, and finally I got a good opportunity to work from home, and I've worked from home ever since. And you just kind of need to know where to look. And I've gotten really good at knowing where to look. But in any event, I use Zoom for conference calls, because people think, well, you work from home, you got the life, nobody checks on you, you can do what you want. Well, that's really not the case. A lot of times I found that your employer is a little bit harder on you because that's the mentality that they have, that you're goofing off. So they check on you more often. So, because they can't walk up to your desk and check on you. So, but I use Zoom for conference calls. So that's kind of how I knew about Zoom. And again, like I said, I took my first Wreath class in a Zoom meeting with Debbie's Wreaths and things. And, and again, I see everybody does the Facebook Lives. I like Facebook Lives. I just think that this way of doing it is just more personal, because you can ask your questions out loud. Oh, you did online classes. Again, Lisa, I think it's just the setting in Zoom. I'll help you if you need it. All right, here's my last piece of this section of 8, and then we just have one more to do. Hopefully we'll get done before 11 o'clock. All right, let's do the same thing we did with the other 2 rows. Just wrap them around each other. And again, I'm finding that if you just tuck that little end piece down, this little tip here, and I find a spot to tuck it in, it helps to hold it in place. It really does work too. Just take this little point on the end here and just kind of tuck it down underneath, and your mesh isn't going to go anywhere. And it just holds right on. Oh, so pretty. So excited. My table is squeaking. My table's talking to me. Pat, honey, I'm sorry. I know you were trying to ask me a question before. I hope you're still here. I was just getting some awful feedback from your microphone. I'm not quite sure what that was. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about that. Look at that. I'm going to need to do some craft adhesive spray in my center here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, I might even spray a little bit on now. It's kind of smelly. Different companies make different kinds. This is Craft Bond by Elmer's. This is basically, I know you may have read in some groups or forums or whatever that if you want to control fraying, after you make your wreath, you just spray it a little bit and it's sticky. It's because it's a glue. So I'm kind of just spraying a little bit in my center here to keep it together, even though I'm going to regret it later because this Elmer's is a little bit smelly.
Christina, can you see your string?
Now I can't. Once you get more of your petals on, you won't be able to see it. You might be able to see it right away, but at this point, since I'm almost done, I can't see mine.
Okay, and the last 3 holes, you're only using 2?
For this last row, I'm only using 2, but we're going to use the other ones right now.
Okay.
Hold on a second here. Yeah, so but really all I just did was I took my spray and I just sprayed my center a little bit. And it'll kind of make it stick. That's what I wanted to do. That might help you with your center to get it to stay the way you want it. If you want it wound around a little bit more tightly. Because it's glue. That's what it is. Then you're going to get it on your hands, and your hands are going to be sticky, and you have to use olive oil or vegetable oil to get it off, because that's the only way it's going to come off. But now I got my center to stay a little bit better. Okay. So on yes, Mimi, on the last set of 3 holes, we're just going to use the first 2 for this last row that we just made. It's actually not the last row, I apologize. Because we still have 1 hole here, okay? So of the 3, I used the first 2 to attach this last row, but we still have 8 more petals that we have to put on. So what we're gonna do for those is we have to share a hole. I don't wanna confuse you. So we're gonna take the one that we went down, when we attached our petal, we came up through the first one and we went down through the second one. We're going to come up through, you can see that, hold on. I had to move my little thing out of the way. See how we went down that hole? Let me get closer to my camera. You can see that. We went down that hole with this last petal. We're going to come up the same hole and go down the third hole. So we're going to share this second hole.
Okay. I might be going off. The battery is going down on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
But it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Oh, you waited so long for this, Mimi. Yours is going to be gorgeous too. I love your color.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Okay, just in case, good night.
Good night, my dear. Thanks for hanging in.
All right.
You're awesome. Love you, Mimi.
Back to you.
All right, here's our last row of petals, and then we're going to do our leaves, and then we can call it a night. Now my hands are sticky. That's okay. Yeah, I really just wanted to try to get my center to be a little bit more, to be a little tighter. And like I said, that spray is kind of like a glue, and it doesn't discolor your mesh either. It just kind of, well, it's sticky, so it'll make it stick to itself a little bit better. And that's kind of all I wanted to do with my center, was just make it stick together a little bit more. Home stretch here. And to think I told my kids this was only going to take me an hour and a half. Boy, was I wrong. But I think my doggie is sleeping peacefully. So she has a habit of getting very restless in the evening. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, she's 14. Her name is Sammy. And she was diagnosed with diabetes and Cushing's disease about a year ago in March. She went blind about a month later from cataracts. She really is doing surprisingly well. In fact, my son and I were laughing today. He came home for lunch. He threw some hamburgers on the grill because it was nice out, and I have my brand new grill that I got for Mother's Day. So we brought her outside, and she just started galloping across the yard. I mean, like running across the yard. Now, she's 14. She really doesn't have all that much energy. And it was just so cute to see her running across the yard like that. We were just dying. And, you know, she's on 3 or 4 different kinds of drops for her eyes to keep them lubricated, because she has a problem sometimes. She doesn't make tears. And she's on medication for her Cushing's disease. She does take insulin. But what I was about to say is that lately, maybe in the last month or so, she gets very restless at night. She sleeps very well during the day. That's probably why she gets restless at night.
Christine?
Yeah?
Will you show me that? I know it's the last row, but will you show me what you're doing?
Is this Emily?
Yes.
Hi, Emily. Did you just pop in?
Yes, I can't believe I missed this. I got everything laid out just so, and I missed it.
Did you forget?
No, I went to sleep.
Oh, that happens. Did you want, and now is it the petals that you want me to show you, or how to attach it?
Both.
Okay. So here's your piece, your 9-inch piece. You're just going to make a triangle out of it. That's all. You're going to gather the ends together, like about 2 inches. You want like a little 2-inch piece on the end there. Take your shorter zip tie. It can be 3 or 4 inches. I think Walmart sells the 4 inches. And you're just going to tie that together. Not really tight enough to hold it, but you need to have a little bit of a space there, because you got to put your second zip tie through it to attach to the frame. So that's what it's going to look like. And you'll see that there's sets of 2 holes in your frame. There's, I think, 4 sets of 2 holes. And you're going to put 8 in each ring. It starts in the middle with your bud, and then you go around. You'll see it when you see the video. It's kind of hard for me to show you now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more. I'm going to have extra mesh now. I don't understand how that happened. I thought I wasn't going to have enough. Oh, I'm so mad. That makes no sense to me. Oh, whatever. I'm confused. I know, how can I possibly have mesh left over? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more. This probably isn't the best one to show you on though, Emily, because this last row that we're putting in, we're going to be sharing a hole, because the last set of holes is there's 3 and there's not 2, and we already used the first 2. Where are my holes? We already used the first 2 holes to put this last row in, but you can see there's another hole there. But what we're going to do, and it's probably better if you just watch the video, it might be confusing for you, because this row of petals is going to be attached differently than we did these. So because the other ones, they're all laying down like this with this, see how all these little pieces are sticking out, these little pieces. This last row that we're going to do, it's going to be going to the inside. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to show you, because this is actually different than we did the inside. But basically, you take your longer zip tie, make sure the flat end is facing up. And we have to share a hole on this one, like I said. So you have to come through this second hole that we already used, like this. Come through, okay? Now remember, this is going to be with this facing in this time instead of out. But you still have to, hold on a second here. You still have to come up and go down. So you're coming up and you're going down this zip tie, this little circle that's holding the zip tie. You have to come up and go down instead of up it. You have to go down. But hold on one second for me. I think we're going to have to go on the other side. I don't think it really matters. So you got to go down, but you're going to take your little tail. All right, so your little tail, which was normally facing out, make sure it's not coming out on you here. It's going to be going in. So you're still going through that last hole there, but you have to tuck that little piece in now instead of letting it go out. And you come up through the bottom. And when you're pulling your zip tie, Emily, when you're pulling your zip tie, don't pull your zip tie straight up in the air. You want to pull it toward the center. Like how you see all mine are all kind of going, these are all my zip tie pieces. They're all going toward the center, so you pull it toward the center. Now, the reason why we tuck that little tail to the inside is because your last set of petals are going to sort of be laying, they're going to sort of be laying flat. They're going to be kind of be laying flatter like that, be laying. I can't even talk. They're going to be laying flatter than hugging the rose like they are now. They're sort of laying flatter, but they're not going to be totally flat like that. You'll see. So I have my little tail tucked to the inside. It's not going out. It's all tucked in. Once we get that attached, then you pull that zip tie tighter that you tied your petal together with, and you can snip that off. And then you take your clothespin and you just do the same thing, just kind of move it out of the way so it's not in your way while you do the rest. So again, take your long zip tie. You got to come up through that hole that you already used to go down, and you're going to come up. So there's the last hole there that we used to go down with this petal, you can't really see it because the thing is covering it. And you're going to come up that hole and go down this one. So we're sharing this hole. But it's very important, Emily, that when you're holding your petal, you don't go up with the zip tie. You have to come up and go down. Go down through that part that's holding your petal together. And make sure that your little tail is facing the inside. And again, pull your zip tie toward the center, not straight up. It's got to go down toward the center. And tuck your little tail on the inside, tighten up that piece, and slip it off. And move it out of the way. Now would probably be a good time for you to plug your glue gun in because we're going to need it. And I will show you why we're going to need it in a second. I want to get it heated up here. So once we get these last row done, I'm going to show you how we're going to use it. Again, when you're all done attaching all your petals, you can snip all these off because you're not going to need them. Don't forget when you attach it to the frame that you tighten this because it's loose now. Remember, you're going to want to tighten that once you get it attached to your frame. Make sure your little tail is going to the inside. Okay. Oh, it's 10:30. It's going to be a long class. It will not take you this long when you're making it on your own. It's just that we're stopping and answering questions and chit-chatting and so on and so forth. When you're teaching, it tends to take a little bit longer. Four more. Don't forget to tuck that tail in before you zip tie it. It's a lot harder to tuck it in once you zip tie it. Just tuck it in so it's facing toward the front. Oh, I have my zip tie facing the wrong way. So it's always good to make sure that that flat end is up before you push it up through. Or you got to do it again, just like I did. When you go to do your leaves, you're going to be sharing the last hole again. The one that we came up or went down with, we're going to be sharing that with the leaves, I should say. Two more. I think the only other time we had a class this long was when I did my poinsettia wreath last fall. That one took a long time too. Okay. Move these zip ties out of the way now. We're not going to need those anymore. Yeah, we will. We're going to need them for our leaves. What am I saying? All right, last one. Last rose petal, that is. Look how pretty that is, though. I'm looking at it in my laptop. It's so pretty. I wanted the coral, but they were all out of the coral when I got my kit, so I told them I wanted purple, because I do love purple. I think I like purple, and then I like blue. It's my second favorite color. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, take this clothespin off. Well, keep your clothespin handy, and I'll tell you why. Get your glue gun. Make sure I have another glue stick here, because I'm probably going to need it. What you want to do is start to open up your petals, okay? You're going to want to glue the end down to the board, okay? So just take, you can kind of see where it's going to fall. Hold on a second here. So you can see that my end is kind of falling on top of this piece right here, or sort of near that piece. Just take a little bit of glue and put it on your board. You can use your clothespin to kind of hold it down. Just kind of tuck it in there. That way you don't have to get your hands all gluey. Just give it like a second. It won't take that long. And I just love those glue strings. You just have to kind of glue the ends down because you don't want those to pop out. Your last row, you kind of want to get those glued down in there. Alright, that one's staying. And just keep doing that with all your pieces. You can kind of see where it's going to fall. And you'll see as you do it. I know it's kind of really hard to see what I'm doing here because my petals are in the way. You just want to get your corners and glue them down right to your board. You have to kind of hold it for a minute. But that's what's going to hold the outside of your flower together. There's a little bit of hot glue, and I'll tell you something right now. I do not like working with hot glue, but you got to do what you got to do. It's going to want to pop up on you. Just make sure you hold it until it's dried. And that's really the last step before you add your leaves. That's going to be a little bit time consuming, but it's necessary, so. Ooh, it's hot. All right, get off me. That was not going to stick. But you get the idea. Just to get that last layer of petals, you have to do the glue. Actually, I think in essence of time here, I'm just going to tuck these in for now and then glue them after class because it's going to take way too long to wait for this glue to dry. So I'm just going to tuck these in for now and then glue them after. I think I'm gonna be okay if I do that because we're gonna be here all night if we sit here waiting for the glue to dry. I'm just gonna tuck my ends in. And I'll glue them after. That's what you need to do. You need to glue your corners in to your board of this last row. And then you can add your leaves. But I am just going to tuck mine in for now. I'm going to do some tucking. Does anybody else have extra pieces of mesh, or is it just me? Because I don't understand how that happened. I felt like I wasn't going to have enough. Does anybody else have extra pieces left over? Is anybody still with me? Robin? Robin?
It's me, Pam. I'm just watching. This is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I'm just wondering why I have extra mesh left over. Does anybody else have any extra left over? Oh no, Robin, are you still with me?
I'm still here.
I'm hoping I didn't. Oh, let me count how many I have left here.
Christine, I got 38 out of my roll. So I had to use a second roll. But I have the right number.
5, 6. I have 6 left over. I have no idea how that happened. No clue. Because we're done.
Remember, I'm on Central Time Zone, Christina.
See, I'm done with the petals, though. I'm done with the rows. We just have to do the leaves now. But I don't know why I have 6 pieces left over. Oh well. And I don't like.
With my roll, I had 40 plus left over.
You had how many?
I cut 40.
Yeah.
And then I had some left over.
See, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that because there's.
I had a generous roll.
Oh, did you?
I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I know I had 40 pieces when I cut the extra for, oh, I don't know. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm half asleep now as it is. I'm starting to get delirious here. But I'm not going to do any more gluing. Like I said, you're going to want to glue the rest of your pieces down on the outside so they stay. But I'm not gluing tonight because I want to get this done. I'll do that tomorrow. But I want to show you how to put the leaves on. I'm just going to get this tucked in as good as I can. Well, look how pretty. Isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty. Now, you don't have to add leaves if you don't want to. You can add leaves all the way around. You can add leaves on one side. Again, now you can even do this if you want to. You can sort of like, if you want your rose to be a little bit looser, you want your petals to be a little bit looser, you could sort of move them out a little bit more. I don't want to move them too much because I don't have the outside glued. I've seen roses with the leaves all the way around. I've seen them with some on like maybe 3 on one side and 2 on the other. It's all on what you like. So here's what you do with the leaves. You just take, if I can find my leaves. Now we're going to have to share a hole again. And what I mean by that is because we don't really have any holes left right now. We used them all. So what you want to do is when you're doing your leaves, I'm just trying to tuck this in here. I'm not gluing it yet. I'm just trying to tuck it in so it stays. Take your leaf. You want the curly side to be going up. Just take the corner, okay, and you just start scrunching it. So you have your leaf shape, okay? And you're gonna kind of want to go like that, so it looks like that. You kind of like flipped it over a little bit. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my clothespin and hold it together for just a second here. Just like that, so it doesn't go anywhere. Take your zip tie, find that last hole of the 3 that you went down. You went down with your last petal in that last hole. You're going to come up with your zip tie for your leaf, and you're going to go around the outside of the frame. So stay with me here. So come up to that last hole that you went down with your last rose petal. All right. Take your leaf out and place it right in the center of your zip tie. You're going to go down around the outside of your frame because you don't have a hole to go through anymore. You're just going to go right around the outside of your frame. And you can kind of play with your leaves a little bit once you get it attached. Make them go the way you want. Cut that off. So again, you can go all the way around with your leaves. You can do maybe, like I said, 3 on one side and 2 on the other. I honestly don't even know if I want to add leaves to mine. I kind of like just the rose, but I'm going to add leaves because I want to show you how to do it. Does that make sense how I did that? So with your leaves, you come up through the last zip tie, excuse me, the last hole that you had. And again, once you get it together, you're just going to want to kind of twist it like that. So they look like that. Just hold it with your I'm going to go right next to it. So the last hole you went down with your petal, you're going to come up with the zip tie. Lay your leaf right in the center. And go right around the outside of the frame. Just turn your zip tie around to the back. You can snip it off. You might have a little bit of a challenge with the leaves. I've heard people say that they have a hard time getting the leaves to lay the way they want. Just kind of tug at them a little bit. Make sure that you get it right in the center, because if you have more on one side than the other, they're going to look weird. So right now I have just 2 sets of leaves on right here. So again, you can go all the way around with your leaves, or you can just stay on one side. I think I'm actually going to call it a night, you guys. I'm really, really tired. I'm going to add some more leaves and take a picture, but I'm going to wrap it up because it's 11 o'clock almost here. We've gone on 3 hours here. So is anybody still with me, or did y'all fall asleep? Who's still with me?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm doing homework, so yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, are you?
I'm still here.
I don't know if I'm going to put leaves all the way
I
around.
had my nap early.
What's that? Did you? Yeah, you fell asleep early. I think I might just do these 2 on this side, and I might maybe do a couple up on this side. I don't know if I want to do leaves all the way around. I'm not sure yet.
It is beautiful. It's so beautiful.
You. Is that Stacy?
No, this is Celia. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you sound just like Stacy.
And you're talking about heat earlier. I'm in Austin, Texas, so it is sweating hot.
Oh, so you know heat. We
Yes,
got
ma'am.
nothing. We got nothing compared to you.
Yeah, we're supposed
But
to hit the
again,
hundreds.
I think this came out really nice. I'm very happy. It's probably not going to take you guys as long because you're not stopping and answering questions. So, but you know what the nice thing is about getting the video? You can pause the video, you can stop, you can get something to drink, take a little nap, come back and finish it. You don't have to, do it all in one shot here. So, but I'm going to keep adding some more leaves, and I'm going to take a picture and I'll post it, and I can't wait to see all your roses, and I hope you post yours as well. All right, guys.
Thanks, Christina.
I will get with all of you, and we'll work on your microphones and any issues that you might have if anybody wasn't able to speak, and we'll get that straightened out. All right, you guys?
Night, Chris.
Good night. Love you guys. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.